Hello, my name is Alan Frost. I'm a partner here at Mazars and head up the management consulting team. In this video, Merel Jansen, a senior consultant, will talk you through the things you need to consider when thinking about crisis communications. What to do before, during and after.
So when you start building your crisis communications plan, there are a few key considerations that you need to be keeping in mind.
We always advise our clients to follow our proven 4-step framework approach. Firstly, there is an immediate need to assess the crisis from a communications perspective, and realistically, this needs to be done sooner rather than later in order to control the narrative from the get-go. Once we have an initial idea of the potential reputational threats to the business, we need to understand which of our stakeholders may be impacted, what type of relationship we hold with these stakeholders, and what to communicate internally, but also externally.
In our experience, we'd advise organizations to have a point person for their external communications, as well as a point person for their internal communications. You need to make sure to have spokespeople in place that are media trained and who know how to deal with journalist requests. So if a crisis has hit, first and foremost, any organization should communicate immediately to their key stakeholders. Even if there's nothing to communicate yet, showing awareness is better than staying silent to reassure your audiences.
This brings us to step 2 of our framework, developing a response. Working from the assumption that we have defined roles and responsibilities for internal and external communications, and we know our impacted stakeholders, a response strategy needs to be developed which defines what statements are sent and to whom. Ideally, the firm have an existing database in place with pre-prepared statements to accelerate the response.
So during a crisis, the speed of the response is of the essence for any organization. It shows that you're controlling the message and it builds trust in your stakeholders that you're dealing with the situation.
In step 3 of our framework, we advise our clients to not only share the company's statements as soon as possible with relevant parties, we also recommend implementing some type of sentiment and media monitoring software to understand how the story develops and what the impact of the crisis is on the organization. Keeping in close contact with any key journalists helps to build trust and allows us to rectify any incorrect information where necessary.
So we always advise our clients to take a step back and assess the post-crisis situation and answer questions like, how swiftly was our crisis response rolled out? Did our teams have access to the information that they needed at that point? And how did our spokespeople perform under pressure?
And this really all forms part of the last step in our 4-step approach to crisis communications, Aftercare. Ensuring that we carry out a lessons learned review means that we can hopefully avoid making the same mistakes should another crisis hit in future. Equally, there may be an opportunity to rebuild trust through proactive and positive comms efforts.
So moving forward, what organizations need to start thinking about post-crisis is implementing a framework that highlights any new company goals or any corrective actions that the organization is looking to implement. And this is to really regain stakeholder trust and confidence in future.